Tous, bienvenue à cette interview, donc cette rencontre publique avec Pater Sparrow qui est venu nous présenter le film que vous venez de voir, One. How do you say one in Hungarian?
Edge. Edge.
Donc il est venu présenter ce film. J'espère que vous l'avez vu et que vous avez plein de questions intéressantes. Vous aurez la possibilité de les poser. Bien sûr, l'interview aura lieu principalement en anglais. Mais si vous avez des questions en français ou en néerlandais, nous allons nous charger de les traduire.
Of als de antwoorden moeten vertaald worden, zeg het dan ook even aan ons en dan zullen we ze snel vertalen.
So, welcome.
Thank you having me.
So, this project, tell us all about it.
Wow. First I would start. Yeah, first I would start with this question how I pronounce one.
Oh, yeah.
However, I never wanted to pronounce the title. I always imagine my film title as a picture, more likely as a symbol. And for me, number is a symbol which is it is a quality and the quantity at the same time. And that's my approach to filmmaking. Is the other way around. I really believe in pictures, and I feel that the visual communication basically is really closed into a box, and there's different ways to make a film. And my goal was basically if I ever could manage to get a feature film, I wanna communicate in my own way, in a much more free way, much more playful way, much more risky way, less entertaining way, but in a more honest way, with basically with the effort that I never tried to make a perfect film. I actually believe that there is no perfect film. Your will could be perfect to make a film. So as a first feature film, I wanted to do something which is not complete, but continuable.
Continuable.
Yeah.
So obviously the film deals with a very difficult subject matter about how we construct our own reality. Can you try to explain what the film is about? Because I do also think that it is a science fiction writer who wrote this. It's a piece of surrealism, but you can see the influences of science fiction in the movie itself because of the way it's constructed and because of the philosophy behind it. So could you tell us something about that and how people should probably interpret the movie?
I really, for me, the most important was that this film only could interpret it in one and only way, personally. Because obviously I try to make a film which I miss, and I miss those films where the creator of the film trusts in the audience that each of the people in the audience thinking in a way like no one else. And so therefore, I knew that I will share my audience. There will be people who will hate me, and there will be people who find this interesting. I more likely try to concentrate the audience attention. Therefore, I changed the attributes. The visual side of the film is much more strong, I think. However, the verbal side of the film is a big dose, so you can't really say it's not a narrative film. It's a very narrative film, but at the same time, the narrative structure in the film serves the pictures and not the other way around as the conventional, genre filmmaking or conventional approach to filmmaking.
So you want people to find their own thing in the film. So what did you get out of the film? What's the film about for you personally?
When I get the chance to make a film, I wanted to talking about something which is the most important for me, and it was a feeling what I think we all share, and it's a big question mark. That's basically determinate my life in every fields. Most of the things I don't know. My answer for most of the things is I don't know, and I was thinking, how can I express this, you know, in a witty way, where if I only want to say that much to people, and because that's what I think the biggest knowledge in life, if you can say on something that you don't know, and basically the story in this film is just a trick. There is no story because we all know what we expect from a story. I only use the story probably for the, you know, before the 90 minutes, the story melted out from the structure, because I wanted to leave my one and only audience, that person there, with this doubt, what I felt, what I tried to express, that the word seems very understandable and very logic and very precise, but at the same time very uncertain and really frustrating, that what we couldn't really express with words, we couldn't really express differently, only in a visual way. If you see a picture, that's something what you can't deny. That's something which is you like it or you don't like it. Either you like it or you don't like it. It's there, and I'm really curious, and I'm not sure I'm right in this way, but I feel that there is many ways to make films, and that was just one experiment, like a medicine. It's not ready yet, but we can see how it's affect. For me, it's really important to try to break the conventional boundaries and see what's there. It was something like that.
So during your explanation, you used the word knowledge, and in the thing that comes to mind when you talk about knowledge, the fruit that you visualize is an apple. Personally, that's. And is there a connection to that? You use a pear, so is there a parallel, any link to the apple of knowledge?
It's a symbol of. For me, obviously, apple is the symbol of knowledge. Then the pear is symbol of what you don't know, because that's what I think the biggest knowledge, as I mentioned before. I think each human being living in a very closed world, a very personal world, which is a secret front of other people, and the only way to get there into each other's secret world is basically if we admit this, that it's hard to communicate about it. And obviously for me the world is like two parts. There's two parts, like an unseen part and one which is obvious and appear. And for me the unseen part is much more important. I think that's the important, and everything else is unimportant. What we can't see is that's what we have to deal with, and I try to persuade my audience basically to get the courage to deal with something, not necessarily like, but deal with something what which not contains a manual, you know, how to use it, just there like a paint. I'm coming from more like from fine arts or from paints, because I think film is a little bit misunderstood itself, and the storytelling. I share this Greenaway theory that the storytelling is over, at least for me.
How is movie being misunderstood?
I think just because the audience front of the screen, they started to telling stories with films, but the film attribute is the picture. So if we want to tell a story, then why don't we step out from the frame? It's a big question for me. Why we use the ratio of the paint? Why don't we watch, in 180% screen, or why we not trying to break these boundaries? I think it would be a much more interesting medium if I would sit in a cinema and I could watch anywhere, and it would happen something. I think we use the frame because if it's enough to listening a film and you understand, then it's a radio play. Then for me it's not a film. Then it's a soap opera or something, and I have to see what's going on. Otherwise, no point to.
I think it's very interesting you mentioned that, because just across this building a few months ago there was an exposition where they used screens everywhere and you could see everywhere. So that would be an interesting thing to do, I think. As far as the movie goes, you used several different kinds of images or imagery. I think there were some images that were in soft focus, somewhat, with a lot of light coming in. Then there was black and white, and you also seem to have used archival footage. So when did you decide to do this, and why did you decide to do this? So do they have different functions as well?
Yeah, basically it's in Hungary it's a very, very low budget film. Even if I hope it doesn't look like a low budget film or look like we had a budget. We didn't have a budget. It's a very cheap film, so that and if you don't have money, you can't really run with the camera. You have to think in very simple exercises, and I use this montage sequence because I have to do a rhythm. I quite like slow, but for such a film you need to make some kind of rhythm, and that was the cheapest way to do some energy there, in these sections, and yeah, all kinds of formats in it, and we were thinking that the dream scenes, or at least what we call dream scenes, should separate somehow from reality, and the news footage just give us much more layers. And I wanted to do something like kaleidoscope, what you can use not just once but twice. If you watch this film the second time, there's lots of hidden codes and secrets, but maybe one day someone will realize, but definitely at the first time you won't. And I don't even know if you don't speak the language, you have to read as well and watch the pictures if you can get half of that what I expected the first time. But for me it's really important that a film is not usable just once, but like music or good book or a nice paint, you have to basically meditate on it in a way. Or everything what I like, basically, in art, film, music, whatever, it follows me during my life, and I got a connection, and even if I growing or changing, it's a memory which means something for me, so I try to do something like this. I hope it didn't hurt that much.
Oui, mais on va peut-être demander au public si quelqu'un a une question, een vraagje. Yeah.
Questions in the audience?
Ne soyez pas gênés. Oui, une petite question, la demoiselle. Attendez, le micro.
So try in English. You said you made the movie about on a novel or short story. What about that short story? Did you follow it really?
Yes.
What?
It's a Stanislav Lem short story
I'm also very interested in, did you do research on what the author wanted to say?
about the.
In the original author, what he wanted to say with the
yeah.
novel, did you do research on that?
Yeah, basically it's a Polish writer Stanislav Lem who unfortunately died before we finished the film. Give us the right, but the short story is a novel. There's no story in it. It's a book critic. It's he basically there's not even characters. He's describe a book and criticizing it called One Human Minute, and this is the almanac. That's the idea what we basically steal and put it into our own story. And as we approached him, basically that time was the Solaris remake with George Clooney, and he was always telling in interviews that he don't want to meet up with filmmakers anymore because he's fed up with the adaptations. So my producers were like really, you know, they doubted that I could get the rights. But he became curious because it was weird for him, even for him, that I want to make a film from this. The second sentence in the novel that no one can make a film out of it, and I just obsessed with this sentence. I like these challenges, and and I think he respect that. I'm very sorry that he couldn't say a word on this because I'm very curious. It was always the problem with all the adaptations that they criticize that it's not bring back his spirit, his philosophical spirit, and I wasn't really into Lamb before, but all the narration scripts basically from the book.
The narrations, all the yeah. Okay.
Other questions? D'autres questions? Andere vragen? So you've talked a lot about how you think people should think about movies, how you want to break boundaries. Do you think that would apply to everyone? Because it seems to me that a film like this will appeal to people who maybe want to think a little more about medium, while some people maybe will have trouble with it and struggle with it. So in how far does movie have to be entertainment, and in how far can you push the limits and still reach enough people that might be able to understand it?
No, I mean, I'm watching narrative movies, don't misunderstand me, and I enjoy them. I enjoy Hollywood films, even stupid films I can enjoy. But I think entertainment is a different, you know, it's a different stage, and it's not lower or higher. It's just something different. What I do, I'm a creator. I'm more like I don't consider myself in this way a film director because I don't really know what does it mean. I miss this freedom in film and in any other art, visual art especially. There is this freedom, just because movies cost a lot. You have to, you know, apologize if you want to use this freedom, but I decided that this film will be my first or my last because I thinking a bit differently, and if I be able to make films, I want to make films in this way. So I don't know if this is a well-tested film now. It was in several festivals, and I see that basically precisely 50% of the audience just it's not their cup of tea, and they don't want to deal with this, and they really believe it's bullshit. And the other half is in, I think they excited about it. No one like door this film yet in a way we door narrative films, but some people appreciate that find something interesting that someone can thinking differently.
You've already holding multiple awards though. So have you already decided if this is going to be your last movie or not? And do you have more projects coming up? Because I can imagine that when you start holding the awards, it becomes easier to find producers and to actually make sure your ideas can bear fruit and you can find more projects to do.
I wish it would be easier. I have to start from the beginning. I feel it, but awards could help. Awards only important for me because it could help. Actually,
They open doors, though.
Yeah, and this film took me 5 years, and they say I'm very lucky, and it's a very fast rhythm. I felt completely the other way around. I felt it's not my rhythm, and I got a new project which in my mind twice as big as this, and I want to shoot in English. So we don't have any money yet. I got a script, and I got the rights. It's an adaptation of a Boris Vian novel. It's The Larashuker is the last, Heart Snatcher is the English title, and we just started in January dealing with the development of this.
Are you going to pitch it in Cannes?
Pardon?
Are you going to pitch it at Cannes?
Yeah. We pitched it in Berlin so far, and it was like medium successful so far, because this type of film must run much more, circle to get the budget. But as in the film, it's appear. I believe that if you imagine something, then you can pull it out from your mind if you really believe in.
On va encore peut-être demander une dernière fois s'il y a une question dans
De
le
laatste
public.
keer dat jullie de kans krijgen om een vraag te stellen.
C'est la dernière chance. Okay. So you said you were busy. So you have other activities like movies, not your only thing. That's what you're just explaining. So can you tell us more about the other things you're working on? And I heard you had a project called End. Can you tell us more about that?
It's a fictitious trademark basically for my projects and other people's projects. Who's in Hungary try to basically deal with this kind of deviant. I think in Europe we could call like deviant visual art. I'm trying to do some music videos as well, sometimes even for money, commercials, and it's really hard in everywhere, I think, to live from filmmaking if you just started. So I don't know. Now I'm doing this project, and beside that, I really believe in internet, and we kind of writing and developing an internet serial in Hungary.
If you're doing music videos and commercials, do you like to do them, or do they just pay the bills?
No, music video is the right fields for me because I'm very visual and I'm thinking only visual. But commercial is nothing to do with me and nothing to do with filmmaking. Is I have to say that there's not even a drop enjoyment in it.
So what kind of music do you like?
What kind of music? Oh, any kind of, basically. But sad music.
Sad music.
Yeah.
What in one of the first scenes, like in the library, in the bookshop, the forensics, well, the guys from the police are there and just studying, like scientists, and one of the guys has a Bad Religion T-shirt, right?
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's and he's listening. Yeah, it's basically there's little kind of opposition symbols against Sven Tamel, yeah, who's a secret Vatican citizen, and I just you know, these are all keys to a door what we never open, and we don't know what's behind the door, but there is lots of keys what I put into different locks, and we think we got conceptions what is what, but that was the whole goal, not to show.
Just for the audience, Bad Religion is a punk band that's been around for about 30 years, and they're well known for their lyrics, which deal with politics and other stuff. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Henry.
And
very much.
of course, after this you get a signing session. So if you want to get anything signed, please hang around for just a few moments. Or if you want to ask some personal questions after this, we will be here for the next couple of minutes. So après, il y a une séance de dédicace. Alors restez ici si vous voulez que le réalisateur signe quelque chose. Als jullie nog iets willen laten tekenen of zo, blijf zeker nog even rondhangen. Of als jullie nog wat persoonlijke vragen hebben. En graag nog een applaus voor de
Merci beaucoup à Pater Sparrow.
Thank you for your patience.
Where you are.